The last stroke of white paint had barely dried on her fence when she looked at me with trembling eyes and said something that froze my blood. She glanced toward the street, toward the houses lined up like silent witnesses, and whispered that when morning came, I should leave through the back door before the neighbors saw me. It wasn't shame in her voice. It was fear. The kind of fear that comes from surviving too much for too long. Before we begin, if you believe kindness can heal broken lives and second chances can change everything, take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Kindest Space. Your support keeps these stories alive. I had only gone there for work. Nothing more. At 42, I'd spent most of my life fixing things that belonged to other people. Roofs, broken gates, cracked walls, old fences. My hands were rough from labor, my back carried years of exhaustion, and my heart carried something heavier. 3 years earlier, my wife had passed away from cancer, leaving me alone with our 10-year-old son, Ethan. Since then, every day felt like survival. I worked long hours, came home tired, made dinner, helped with homework, and fell asleep wondering if I was enough for him. That summer was brutal. Bills piled up. Work was slow. I was behind on rent. Then my phone rang one Tuesday morning. A woman needed her fence painted. Simple job. Cash payment. I accepted immediately. Her house sat at the edge of town, old but beautiful, hidden behind overgrown hedges. The wood fence looked weathered, almost forgotten. When she opened the front door, I saw her for the first time. Her name was Clara. She looked to be in her late 30s, with tired eyes that seemed older than the rest of her face. There was a sadness in her posture, like she had been carrying invisible weight for years. She barely smiled when she showed me the fence. Her voice was soft, almost careful, like every word had to pass through pain before it came out. As I worked, I noticed things. The curtains stayed shut all day. The house was quiet, too quiet. No television. No music. No laughter. Just silence. Halfway through the afternoon, she brought me a glass of lemonade. Her hand shook when she handed it over. I noticed bruises on her wrist. She pulled her sleeve down quickly. I told myself not to ask. People have stories they don't want strangers touching. By sunset, I had finished. The fence looked new again, standing bright against the fading sky. But when I packed my tools, dark clouds rolled in, and the rain came hard and fast. Clara hesitated, then offered for me to wait inside until it passed. The house felt colder than it should have. Not from temperature, but from emptiness. On the walls were old family pictures, but many had been turned face down. She made coffee. We sat across from each other in silence at first. Then somehow, maybe because storms make strangers honest, we started talking. I told her about Ethan. About losing my wife. About how grief doesn't disappear, it just changes shape. She listened like she understood every word. Then she told me about her husband. Or rather, the man who used to be her husband. He had left 6 months earlier after years of cruelty. Emotional scars, physical scars, broken trust. The bruises on her wrist weren't old enough to belong to the past. She said the neighbors knew pieces of it, but no one ever stepped in. People watched. People whispered. But no one helped. The rain kept falling. It got late. Too late to drive back safely through the flooded roads. Clara offered me the couch. I hesitated. But exhaustion won. That night, I barely slept. Something about that house felt haunted, not by ghosts, but by memories. At dawn, I woke to the smell of coffee. That's when she said it. Use the back door before the neighbors. At first,